This girl felt a strange itch inside her nose, but you won't believe what the doctors pulled out. Sylvia was a 17-year-old girl who was awoken in the middle of the night to severe pain in her forehead and nose. The pain was so severe that she decided to go to the emergency room. She then went to 3 other hospitals, but they all told her that she just has a sinus headache and that she should go back to bed. But she was in so much pain that she decided to go to a 4th hospital, and they started to look into it deeper. So the doctor looked up her nose and was horrified by what he saw, but saw that a cockroach had crawled up her nose and it was going into her brain. So he grabbed some tweezers and yanked it out of her brain, and when the cockroach came out, it was still alive.
Here's what actually happens when you have a baby. First, the man will release millions of sperm in hopes that one of them reaches the egg. Once the egg is fertilized, it will attach itself to the inside of the woman, and that's when the process will begin. In the first 2 to 4 weeks, the heart will begin to grow and little stubs will form exactly where the arms and legs will be. In weeks 5 to 12, the embryo will begin looking more like a human, which we call fetus. In this stage, the heart begins to beat and the baby will grow arms and legs. In weeks 12 to 20, the baby will develop bones and hair and be able to move around in the woman's stomach. In weeks 20 to 32, the baby will be able to breathe, taste, and it'll even take its first poo. Then it'll come out any day to have its first look at the real world. If you want to see this for yourself, I found this app where you can grow your own baby. Links in my bio if you want to try too.
Here are 4 things we all did as kids. Admit it, we all unraveled the design of the world's worst pencil. Who else poured glue on their hands and then waited for it to dry so they could peel it off? We all remember running our fingers along these exact same lines in school. And who else pretended they were smoking when it was cold outside?
Here are 4 things you were never meant to see. Remember those fires in Australia at the beginning of the year? Well, this is what the media didn't want you to see. The sky was completely dark red and looked like this for a few months. Ever wonder how pancakes look so delicious on TV? Well, they actually put cardboard in between them to make them look fluffy. Then they pour motor oil all over the pancakes to make them look delicious. And you've probably been told to stay away from lightning. I mean, that's probably smart, but the scars left over look really cool. What you see here is not a baby in a blender. It's actually how babies get x-rayed, but no one seems to know this. This guy is the luckiest man in the world, and this is why. If you didn't already recognize him, that's Seth MacFarlane. He's the one who created Family Guy and other shows like American Dad. On the night of September 10th, 2001, he went out partying with his friends and stayed out all night. The next morning, he slept in and realized he was late for his flight, leaving in 30 minutes. He raced to the airport and sprinted to his gate, but by the time he got there, it had already closed. He had missed his flight by 2 minutes. Left with no other options, he went to the airport lounge and fell asleep. But 45 minutes later, he woke up to people screaming and crying all over the airport. But when he took one look at the TV screen, he was horrified. On TV, he saw Flight 11 crash into the North Tower, the exact flight that he was supposed to be on.
Here are 4 things we all did as kids. Admit it, we all stabbed our eraser when we were bored in class. We all got spanked when we were younger, but if you didn't, your parents were way too easy on you. We all got our fingers stuck in one of these at least once in our life. And we all risked our lives leaning back in our chairs, and some of us even fell over.
You will never see these moments caught on camera again. Watch closely as this black lab almost drowns and the other dog grabs a stick and saves his life. Dogs truly are amazing, but the real question is, why is the owner just filming all of this?
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, Part 1. This shadow is permanently etched on the steps of Hiroshima following the nuclear explosion that killed over 70,000 people. The boy in this photo is Esteban Reiner, and the Nazi who took his photo made him put on a uniform and smile for the camera, knowing that 2 weeks later he would die in a gas chamber. This photo shows 3 young girls smiling together for a selfie, but if you look in the right hand corner you can see a light. Well, that's the headlight of a train that hit them and killed them moments later. This photo shows a starving little girl trying to reach a feeding center when a vulture landed nearby waiting for her to die. And the photographer Kevin was told not to touch the children out of fear of getting a disease. Plastic surgery gone too far? Part 1. Justin Jetlick had never liked the way he looked. He was super self-conscious about his nose, so when he turned 18, he got his first nose job. Since then, he's got 6 more nose jobs, bicep implants, shoulder implants, and even chest implants.
These are the weirdest things people have found in the desert. First off is this weird alien-like creature spotted in Portugal and no one knows where it came from. Next, people have been finding abandoned ships in the middle of the Sahara Desert that are hundreds of years old. The weird thing is there isn't any water for hundreds of miles, so how did they get there? And how exactly did these alien-like hieroglyphs appear in the middle of the African desert? They've been forming for years and no one knows why. And that monolith that showed up in the Utah desert, what is going on?